Tax-free earnings in Technoparks? When you discover or invent something with a new software or design and then produce and sell it, you don't pay taxes on your earnings, you are exempt from VAT, and you don't pay income tax on the salaries of the personnel you employ there. As you know, typically, a 25% corporate tax on earnings and a 20% VAT on revenue must be calculated and paid. However, in Technoparks, these amounts remain in your pocket. Once you are accepted into the Technopark, you inform the managing company. They then provide you with letters regarding these exceptions. You submit these letters to the tax office as an attachment to your petition, and the process begins. System management, data management, business applications, software delivery, and services within the scope of sectoral, internet, mobile, and military applications produced in Technoparks are exempt from VAT. However, services such as maintenance and repair services after these deliveries are excluded. At the end of your project, if you cannot present a new project within the allotted time, you are no longer considered a part of the Technopark. Any sales you produce for the Technopark but make outside the Technopark are not exempt from VAT. For remote work, 100% of IT personnel can work remotely, while 75% of other personnel can work remotely under the exception guidelines. Additionally, wages on the employee's payroll are exempt from income and stamp tax. The employee's deductions, ranging from 15% to 35%, are returned to the employer. While this might seem like a benefit to the employee, it's important to note that the system, which is supposed to protect workers within the social state principle, essentially shifts the burden from the employer to the employee in a different form. This is because the application for exemption is made through the Muhtasar declaration instead of through payroll, making it an incentive for income tax withholding that benefits the employer. There are support programs for entrepreneurs and tax deductions for employers, but there are also penalties for those who do not support. Companies that support projects in sectors designated by the ministry can deduct these payments from their tax base up to a maximum of 10% of their earnings and 20% of their equity capital. Technopark companies with an exemption income of over 1 million must support at least 20,000 entrepreneurs with a maximum of 20 million, which translates to allocating 2% of this exemption amount to a passive fund account invested in venture capital funds for entrepreneurs until the end of the same year. Failure to transfer this money results in the inability to utilize 20% of the relevant exemption. As for SSI premiums, half of the employer's premium share, which is 7.75% calculated from the gross wage before the tax exemption, is exempt. For example, someone with a minimum wage gross salary of 20,000 receives a premium discount of 1,550 lira. If R&D and design personnel act as mentors or give lessons, their earnings are limited to 8 hours per week and are tax-free. When revenue is exempt from VAT, the VAT incurred for revenue-related expenses should be included in the cost without being deducted. When issuing an invoice within the scope of the exception, it is sufficient to include the phrase VAT has not been calculated in accordance with temporary Article 21 of Law number 365. I hope this is helpful.